Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and today we're going to find out how chrome powder, how chrome it is. Now that may not be a proper sentence, but I'm okay with that. Recently got some chrome powder. I saw someone else using it on their channel, so of course, and I know people on my channel, you see me using something and then you think it's kind of neat and you go off and buy it yourself. It's one of the reasons I probably also don't watch other people's channels anymore, because I see things and I go, ooh, that'd be kind of cool. Anyway, so I bought these and I want to try them out. Before I do that, I want to mention to you that Blue Moon, who is a company that has product in at Michael's, where I shop anyway, they've got some of their stuff on sale, really well discounted, I think. So I thought I would mention to you. So Blue Moon Studio at Michael's, currently they're getting rid of some of their product. They have also, in my store anyways, brought in a whole new selection of molds that you may or may not want to check out. They've also, and I haven't gotten it here because I'm picking it up today, they have a jar of UV resin now, and I'm sure most of you have seen people who are making the flowers with the jar of UV resin. I also know Daniel Cooper uses the jars. Now he bought his, I believe, off of Amazon, and they're much cheaper. So the one from Michael's that Blue Moon has put out is probably as deep as this box is, and it's not really set up, but I just wanted to try out this liquid in a jar UV resin. I did try looking on Amazon and I didn't get very far on that. I do like Daniel's idea of getting the black jars and just taking my UV resin and pouring it in. Anyways, I just wanted to mention to you about the Blue Moon Studio at Michael's. Some stuff's on sale. They've got some new stuff in. I also wanted to mention, because I was in there the other day, I almost think I should have stocks in Michael's. But anyways, besides the fact, they're now doing more online coupons versus in-store coupons. Because the other day I went in and I asked one of the ladies there, and I said, there's no coupon. And she said, no. She has been, or it has been explained to her that it has to do with the tariffs. So if you are going in and you don't have a coupon to use, and it may be different down the States versus Canada, but I'm just letting you know that at least here I'm finding that I have to order my stuff online in order to get the coupons versus getting them in store. So I just thought I would mention that. Enough about Michael's, enough about Blue Moon Studio. What we're going to do today. So I have two molds here that we're going to do. This one has a really neat flower design on what will be the bottom of this plate, which I'm kind of excited about and seeing how that turns out. And then I almost want to call this almost like a pear-shaped mold, and I want to try this one out as well. And I want to try it with these new chrome powders by Let's Resin. So I have a ton of different of the powders of Let's Resin, and one of the ones I've got is I've got the chameleon powders, and this is their plum. Okay, and if you have them, you know they've got a bit of a, you can sort of, if you tilt them different ways, you can kind of get a different color to them, almost like a color shift, if you will. So I have that set. I also, from one of the nail companies that's sort of expanded beyond nail products, Gel Moment, they have chrome powders as well. And I'm just doing a bit of a comparison here for you so you can see the difference. So that's one of their chromes. Their colors are absolutely stunning, and I actually had bought their colors because of the red and green they have from a chrome powder perspective, because they're, like, to me, they're true green and red, which is something I absolutely love. And then this is one of their other colors, and this is a very vibrant purple. And I don't know what, so some of them, I don't think this is one. Oh, this is Galactic Chrome, and this is Cosmos Chrome. Okay, I just thought I'd show it. I wanted to bring those out so you could have a look at sort of maybe what the difference would be. You know, and you see things online, or you know, you see things in people's videos, and you really don't get a true sense of I don't think, what things are like until you get them yourself. So if you're into the sort of glitzy and the bright and shiny like I am, then it gets, I hate to use the word, but it's addictive. And you want to try them out for yourself. So there are 10 colors in here, 10 colors, 2-gram bottles. Alrighty. Alright, that's what we've got. We have a brush to apply them, which is always awesome, and I'll add it to my collection. Let's get these guys out of here. And then we'll get rid of the box because I have no use for the box. I have to say, this weekend, I decided I was just going to do stuff for me. Normally, I am not running around like crazy doing videos, but I usually try and keep ahead of myself. And this video is not ahead of itself by any means. But it was so nice. If you've done videos for YouTube or videos for anything, and that's all you're focused in on, it was so nice this weekend just to say, you know what? I am just going to work on whatever I want to work on. I'm not videotaping it. I'm just going to enjoy doing for me, for a change. Very selfish and very much needed it, but it was really nice to just, I'm doing this for me this weekend. So I had fun making some new earrings. They're still needing some work to be done to them, but it's just been fun. It's been cool and relaxing. And trust me, I would never, question anyone on that, knowing what I know about making videos now, that if you need downtime for yourself, then you take that downtime, because I think it's incredibly important. And you know what? I got thinking, if I skip a video, then I skip a video. I'm going to do my best not to do that, but I needed time for me. All right, so let's go through these colors. We have royal blue, purple, and you may not see these very well. We'll open up the lids so you can see them. We have a green. We have a light blue. We have a blue. I want to make sure I get these in. We have holographic pink. Holographic silver. That's a very pretty looking silver. We have a gold. I have all kinds of gold. And when I say that, I have all kinds of gold micas. Some more matte, some definitely a shiny glossy. We have a red. It looks very pretty. So let me get the green and the red. Let's have a look at those two first, because I'm always fascinated to see how close to like green and red we get. And then we have this one, which is a rose red. Okay. Now, I don't know how fortunate or lucky I'm going to be not to have, and we have protective lids on these, which doesn't surprise me. All right. So we'll look at these. My dog's offering her 2 cents over here to the left. All right, so here's a red. I can show you in the bottle, but I think that gives you maybe a bit, at least you can see it properly versus in the bottle. And there's our green. So very, very pretty red and green, which I don't know about you, but that's incredibly important to me when it comes to Christmas, because I don't want an off red or I don't want an off green. I want them vibrant, because that's what all right. That is our royal blue. I almost feel like I should cover those with tape, like a clear tape. And I'm getting stuff in my fingers, which of course now. This is our purple. Okay, there's a purple. Yeah, I might do that. I might just put those down on something and then put tape over top of them. There's your gold, which is a very pretty gold. I think most companies have the gold down pretty good. And I haven't quite decided what colors I'm going to use. I might use red and blue because I have my Alumilite translucent dye that I could use with it, because I have an idea in mind for how I want to do this. So this is our rose red. This will be our light blue. And like I say, they look totally, it's interesting because when you look at them here on these little cardboard pieces or foam pieces, whatever you want to call them, like the intensity in the bottle, like just to show you the intensity from the silver that's on this piece here to what's in the bottle. I mean, the intensity is a lot more, and I kind of look at it's because there's so much more in the jar, but it looks totally different than what's on there. But I trust that, you know, what I'm seeing is what I get, obviously. This is the holographic pink. We may have to try that on something. I'm not really sure how the holographic's working in that, but and then the last one is, I believe, the blue, right? Okay, now that to me looks more teal than blue. And you know, it's interesting. I'm not sure if you can see it, but as I'm tilting that, I can see the green in it. I can see green in that. I consider that more teal. And I actually have one of the Alumilite that's supposed to be a green that's actually more of an ocean blue color. So it might work well with that. So let me tell you what I'm kind of thinking of doing, and then I will go away and get everything figured out and resin ready to go. We'll come back and we'll see how we're going to decorate these. My plan is I don't want to completely like do these all in a chrome color. That's not my plan here. What I'm really thinking about doing is just sort of doing part of the bottom, basically on this one, what I can see, which is this little section in here, and then letting the translucent color be the rest of it. Now that may not seem like near enough to really give an idea of the actual chromeness of these colors, but I do think it'll be enough so you can see a nice comparison between the translucent and then the chrome sort of being the pop in the center, if you will. And at some point, I mean, I have tons of this stuff when I say, I mean, there's a lot in these bottles. So it won't be a stretch for me to do some other things. I actually have a pendant that I want to make for an anniversary party I'm going to, and I think which one is it? The royal blue will work really, really well to do that. Anyway, so basically all I want to do is where the opening is, that's where I want my chromes to be. And then for the rest of it, I'm just going to use a translucent resin to fill these up. We will be using my heating mat for this, just because, as I said, I spent the weekend doing my own stuff, so I need to get this done and up for you. And I do like the idea of putting these pieces on a piece of paper, you know, setting them down, and then, you know, putting tape over top of them, just so I can, you know, go back and look to see, oh, okay, this is, and marking, obviously, that these are the chromes and what the color is. I think that's a good idea. I've done it for my alcohol inks that I've done, and I don't refer to it all the time, but it is kind of handy to have it. Anyway, let me get all organized. We'll come back. We'll know the chromes we're going to use. We'll get them on the pieces, and then we'll get our resin ready to go. See you in a bit. All right, I am back. I've made some decisions. We're going to get going on this just in a moment. This is what I did with the pieces that were, you know, sealing these up. Interestingly enough, I went to put tape down and the tape won't stick to the mica powder. I didn't know that. So in case you go to do this, that's an awareness for you. I just thought I would share that. I'm going to end up hanging this in front of me here. You can't see, but I have an interesting stand right behind me or right in front of me, and I'm going to just attach this to where my alcohol ink pitcher is, and then I'll put that up there and it'll be out of the way, and then hopefully none of these micas or chromes will get knocked off of, so we'll do that. But I just wanted to show that to you, what I did, and I wanted to share with you that you cannot stick tape to these, which I did not know. So if you knew, great. I didn't know that. Wasn't aware. Okay, what are we going to do? For this piece here, or what looks like a flower, we are going to use 3 colors on it, actually. I am going to use the gold, and I'm just going to do it right in the center. There's a little round dot in the center, and then I'm going to sort of do my bestest to sort of not blend the royal blue and the rose red. I'm just going to try and, I guess, blend them to the best of my ability, and I don't know how that's going to work out. Again, I am not going to turn this inside out. I am just going to do what I can see. And if some, sort of flakes down, fair enough, it is what it is. And I'll just carry on with life. And then for this one, I'm just going to do that with the blue that I said has a bit of like a teal color to it. And I'm going to use my Alumilite, what's supposed to be green in it, because it's a blue-green color as well. So I'll do that with that one. I had thought about putting glitter in with these, but I'm not going to do that either, because I really do want to get a sense of how chromey these colors are. So we'll get started, and we'll do the easiest things first. So we'll do the gold in this, and then we'll do the blue over on this other one, and then we'll come back and see just how talented Natalie is doing that. So I'm just going to use one of these mica brushes to do the gold. So let's get back in camera. And I know I won't need much. And I was watching Steve McDonald, and he had actually mentioned that once you have like micas down, you can't go over them with another color. So if you get another color on top of this, it's not a big deal, which I'm not sure if I knew that or not. So I'm just sharing that with you because I'd heard it on one of his videos I happened to watch on the weekend. No, we're not going to do that. So there's our dot in the center. Now it's not overly gold. Chromey, I guess was what I was going to say. So we're going to find out once we're done. And I'm not, going hard putting this stuff down, and maybe that's something I may have to do to get the real intensity I'm looking for. So now with our blue, which, as we know, micas like to jump. And I almost wonder if I should be using one of the, not one of these, one of the makeup brushes, the hard ones. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If I should be using that to put this down too. And I'm wondering too, if the molds that we use have an impact, like the better the quality, the better the applying goes. I don't know. Now I do know that I am getting some of this down inside my mold. It's flying around, in and out, all over. On my finger. So we'll see. Trying to sort of make sure at least I have it looking round, right? And I guess this is one of those things. So a note to myself that maybe in the future, if I do it again like this, I'll actually turn it inside out so I can get rid of some of those flakes that have sort of jumped around. Because I know that I will see those on the finished piece. So what I might, I'm not sure I'm going to pull that off. I don't know if this will do it or not. Yeah, where are you? I'm just putting a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on my table here. And see if I can clean some of this up. So we don't have a too much of a mess, eh? Yeah, I'm probably making more of a mess than I want to. So that might be a good thing to do, is to turn these inside out, because then we can, you know, taking a wet wipe or something like that, yeah, that's probably do a better job of cleaning up versus what I'm attempting to do right now. So, you know, something to keep in mind. We'll leave it. I won't try and do this, but that's a good point for next time, is for me to turn it inside out and do it, because then I can properly wipe it down and not end up with it looking messy, which is sort of what's happening. It won't be too bad, but it's still not going to be as nice as I would like it to be. So that's a good lesson. See, because I've got some right down in here at the side. So that's a good lesson for me. And if I do something and it helps you to not make the same mistake I've just done, then great. We could attempt thinking if I want to, you know what, I'm going to leave it. Next time I'll turn it inside out. I'll just deal with how it looks. And I know I've got some extra on here. So yeah, that's a really good point, something to keep in mind. I hope you appreciate what I go through so that you don't have to. I certainly know I would, if I was watching somebody's video and they, you know, something went sort of squirrely, that at least you are aware of what could happen. And I do know this stuff jumps around. I didn't think it was going to jump around that much. So you might be saying, so Natalie, you're going to turn the other one inside out? And I think I might. It's maybe a little more challenging to do, but let's do this. At least then, if I get any on the inside, we can clean it up. All right. So that's what our inside looks like. I'll just, oops, take that and get off some of this. All right, let's see if we can, I just don't want any of that blue on here. Alrighty. That over there, and we'll just wipe this up. All right, let's see what we can do. I guess I should probably get using the same brush for both colors is a brilliant idea. So I want to get this into the center so you can see what I'm attempting to do, and we'll see if it works out. So as I say, I just want to try and blend the two colors. I don't want to get, I'm trying not to get too much on here of one specific color. And then we'll hold on to it so it's not. This looks like a really nice color. I wonder if the reds and whatnot are going to be sort of more, what do you want to call it, vibrant going on the mold than the blue will be, or even the gold. Okay. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. Nope, royal blue, Natalie. That's a vibrant blue, people. Like, And I want to make sure as much as, you know, Steve talked about it not mixing, I just don't really want to go over the gold. I'd like to keep it I guess since we're working on this, we might as well just get all these flowers, the flower part done as much as we can, eh? No point in leaving it. And I'm kind of going in different directions with this just because of the feel of the mold, if you will, like just to kind of get it, not in all the crevices, because we know that the resin is going to fill in some, but I'm trying to go in different directions so we can fill in any gaps. And I don't think it has to be perfect, if you will, because, well, flowers aren't always perfect. But I definitely, you know, of the two colors I've got on here so far, I'm really liking that rose red. I mean, it looks very pretty. Okay, I want to get some of my, I've got way too much of that royal blue on my makeup brush on the metal piece. So let's go back to the rose red. And I think what I'll do is I'll just go around it now with the red, because it's a little bit challenging to see how far down this goes, and I'm pushing in the sides. They're just going back in on their own as I go around it. And I guess if you really wanted to, you could get fussy on this and like fill in all the leaves, if you will. I'm not really it's a little hard to tell, but you could, I mean, and two, what you could do is just go all the way around it with these two colors, and so at the end of the day when you pull it out of the mold, it's not choppy, it's got all the colors on it, like all the way around it. But I'm not going to do that. You know what, I'm going to do that. I have a little spot that I'm as I start making a mess. Let me blend that in. It's amazing how it's attaching itself to the metal on this brush, or on both of them for that matter. Yeah, I'm definitely liking the red, the rose red. It's a very pretty color. And two, I think by doing it this way, I'll have a better sense if I want to do this in the future, where I just do a bit of it versus doing the whole thing. I think that's another reason I'm kind of liking doing this and not doing it all, but but doing part of it so I can just see how it would look. All right, so I'm just going to blend some of this in. Wow. I mean, the blue's pretty, but this red, I mean, come on, that's got such a nice shine to it. I don't know, am I doing it any justice for you, or not really? It's a very vibrant color. Wow, that's pretty. All right. So let's get those down. So you can see how it's attaching itself to the metal on the brush, which is kind of a shame because you end up wasting some of it, but oh well. It's not like I can't get more, and the fact that I got enough to sink a ship. So we'll just call it what it is. I have a lot of different colors and whatnot. All right, so at least now I can go around and wipe off where it's sort of jumped. Which I'm doing sort of out of camera view so I can see it better. And then I'll just, if we've got some little tiny specks, it's not a huge deal. All right, so put that off to the side. Just doing a quick wipe with one of my paper towels to just sort of dry off the wet wipe that I used on this. All right, so that's what we're dealing with. I am going to take and brush this blue around so it's not all right. So I just throw some more around. Well, I think this is going to be a lot better than the other one. So let's turn you inside out. Natalie. See now. See what I just did? By turning that inside out, and I took it off. Okay, so maybe this wasn't the best laid plan of doing this, although, okay, now I'm thinking, I'm not going to take that off. And you may think, Natalie, why would you not take it off? Because I'm just not. And I may be shooting myself in the foot a little bit, but maybe not. So let's clean up and put some more back on where I took it off. And then we're going to flip this another way. Yes, I know. Don't think I'm too crazy yet. I'm sort of, my mind's just bear with me, if you will. All right. So, not that way. Do it this way. And I know I'm going to end up doing this all the way around, and I'm actually not going to care about that. I'm not going to care about that. Okay, just bear with me. Just bear with me as you're looking at me going, what the heck is she doing? All right, so in my infinite wisdom, and you're going to think I'm crazy for doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm loving this now. Oh yeah. I don't mind that I'm doing this at all. So, to the best of my ability, I'm going to get, and I'm probably going to spew a little bit, but I don't care. Well, I do care. That's a lie. I do care, but I care only to a point. And I think you maybe understand my concept when I get done. And maybe not. It's always possible that you're thinking she's lost her mind. But have I? Maybe, maybe not. See, it's that kind of thing that comes up with new ideas. Right? In my mind, anyway. Yeah. Ooh, I like this. I like this concept. I like the concept I just came up with. And I still really love this pink. I think it's a spectacular looking color. And I appreciate that everyone would have their own, right? You know, you see a color and you go, wow, that's really pretty. And I really like this pink. Or rose red. I should call it by its right name. It's not a pink. It's a rose red. All right. So, yes. So I'm going to do a little bit more. I don't think I've got a lot over there to play with. And then I'll just tap a bit down. Again, you may think I'm crazy doing what I'm doing. But if this turns out like I think it's going to, then I'm not so crazy after all. And I'm not so crazy after all. I'm almost done. I'll stop doing what I'm doing after this. And actually, instead of, because I don't want to take any off the top here, not that it would matter, but I am going to just like this. All right. I know you probably still think I'm crazy, or you're looking and going, oh, I see what she's up to. Okay, so we know with, yeah, okay. So the first one, or doing this one, with the way it's on the inside there, is not going to be very interesting, okay? But I think we will find something unique with this one, and that's why I'm kind of excited. Anyway, I need to mix up some resin now and get a little bit of cleaning up going on here. Put the colors I used off to the side so I can put them in the description below. And I'm going to mix up some resin. We're going to come back. We're going to pour. It'll be on my heat mat, and we'll go from there. All right, here's the plan. We are going to pour this. I apologize. When I see something, it's one of those I've just got to get rid of it things. Anyway, I am going to pour this piece first. I have mixed up my resin. Again, I used their green, which isn't really green. And I'll show you why I say it really isn't green. And it was interesting when I bought it. Oh, this is going back a year or two. There was a comment that someone else had bought it, and it, you know, it looks blue, not green. So that's the color we're dealing with. And that's why I decided because it's got the blue hue to it, and quite a bit of a blue hue to it, that I would use this in this piece, because this blue has a little bit of green in it. So we'll see how it works out at the end of the day, and maybe what I might do in the future is use some of that blue, because it has more of a green to it, in this, to see if I can't add, like, make this a little more green. Now I could add I believe it's yellow to this to give me more of a green color, but I've found in the past I have to add quite a bit of the yellow to it. So it's one of those colors that's not the color it says it is. And I don't know if it's possible that Alumilite has corrected that and actually have a quote green out now. I don't know that. I haven't gone looking, and I don't really want to take a chance of getting another one and having it be again like the bluish color. Anyways, we're going to do this one, and then I'm just going to mix up my resin for the other one and just pour it. I'm not going to make you sit through that. The one thing I do want to mention, though, especially with this one, is the fact that we have a lot of, like, what is it? It's not a smooth surface around here, so I'm going to have to be very careful when I am pouring it to make sure that we don't end up with, you know, a whole bunch of air bubbles. So I'm going to be really careful when I'm pouring into this one to make sure that I don't end up with any issues. I'll turn on my heating mat after that's done, and then we'll come back when it's time to take these out of their mold. So let's get this poured. And see how we do. This one I'm not as concerned with. I will, you know, play with it a little bit to see about avoiding air bubbles. And actually, you know what? I have some in there, so I'm just going to quick spray this to get rid of the air bubbles. I did this by hand. I mixed it by hand. It seems I'm getting quite adept at mixing by hand again. I'm also trying to keep my dog happy. She seems to have settled down a little bit, but again, you know, some days it's just easier to pour it, to mix it by hand. And then yeah, I'm not so concerned about it on the sides there. Up at the fronts where I'm going to be a little more concerned, but I'll just I want to see it sort of get around all the sides, and then we'll move it around a little bit. Let me know if you're feeling mesmerized by this. It almost makes me think of whale right now as it's filling up. Oops. Let this settle and go down. It's not like some molds where you can just pour it and it goes. It actually has, see, it's actually pushing the bubbles up on its own. Okay, so let's just turn this around a little bit. And I'm looking around. I'm not gonna, if it looks like I'm not gonna have any air bubbles because of the slowness in which it has gone around the mold, then I'm not gonna touch it, because I don't want to introduce any air bubbles to it. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm almost more concerned about having them up around the top than I am around the bottom. So I'm going to really have to watch that. And make sure, because we see how we're getting our air bubbles here. So I want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Be interesting to have them there, right? Versus where we normally have them. So let's just float that up. You see, I know what let's get this open up. Yeah, it's interesting, that we've got them up near the top. We don't have them down at the bottom, which is unusual. For me, anyway. So I'm just going to work this up very carefully. Yeah. And it may be, I mean, this top or bottom, if you will, is not the greatest. Okay, so we seem to be pretty good. But again, that's something you're going to want to pay attention with some of these, is where are your bubbles occurring. And I want to be careful too, because I don't want to run out of space to pop those bubbles. Yeah, so I'm just working them up. There we go. Now I might just use what I have here instead of mixing up more, because I have about 50 mils of resin left. I don't know how much that one's going to take, but I don't want to really pour that into something else if I can use it here. Yeah. So this one for sure, I'm going to want to keep my eyes on. Pour a little bit more in here. It's for another one of these ones that's maybe not completely level. So now when I have enough in here. Like I almost, yeah, I'm just trying to sort of get it more centered. Which isn't working. And of course, we want to be careful that we don't have it start running over, correct? All right. Well, I'm going to sort of let that settle down. I'm going to just move it off to the side here a little bit. Very careful. So let's bring this other one over. And if we are very lucky, 100 mils I made will do both of them. And again, this one, okay, we're going to be really careful with. And I think what I'm going to do is hopefully you can see that, yeah. So I'm going to sort of start, I'm not going to start right in the center. I want to start at the side. Again, whether that makes any difference in my world will be seen. And I'm just going to let it sort of flow down. And then I'm going to work it. Because I can definitely see the possibility of ending up with air bubbles on this one. And it flows slowly. And it's just coming together here. Almost there. Oh, there you go. All right, so this one, I know I've got some air bubbles over here. I don't know if you can see them or not. They're down here at the bottom, and that's why if I think about it, which I don't always, I can be totally honest with you, I don't always think about where these, you know, air bubbles are going to be or anything like that, and that can be a bit of a drag, right? Because I'm going to use the other end of that. You know, you want to get them out, but at the same time, when they get down there, the little dickens. Okay, so that's a term. That's an old term, little dickens. I don't know if anyone else uses it anymore, but get another one there. Yeah, and hopefully I'm not messing up my mica powder too badly, because that'll be a drag if I am. Yeah, I can see tiny bubbles. I do have some, and I don't know if they're going to come up on their own because of the location of them. Yeah, I might be okay. I might be okay. All right. I'm back there. Clean up my brush. Don't you like the commentary today? Yeah, some days. All right. Let's have a look-see. It's looking pretty good for that. I'm just going to quickly lift this up and have a look underneath. No, it's looking pretty good. Again, I do think there's a benefit to pouring slow. Some people may disagree with me on that, but I do think there is a benefit. And I will admit it might be a bit of a drag if I pulled some of that mic off. But it also creates, you know, an interesting look too. So I'm not going to apologize too hard for that. What I am really hoping for with this is that I have enough resin. That would be a beautiful thing. And you know what I'm really liking about pouring this over top of this chrome is just how much more brilliant it's looking. Okay, now let me see. Fuzzy of some sort in there, but I'm hoping, can you see the brilliance of that? I can't really move it too far, but that is, it's very pretty, and the red coming around the sides, which you may not be able to see very well, but it looks like you can. Very bright in there. I think we bang on with, I made like probably around 100 ml of resin, and I have to say, people, I am impressed that we are like pretty much got this bang on. And yes, I am going to gloat about that. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm going to put, I think, a little bit. There's not much of this left, but I want to put a little bit more in here. That looks, I don't know, I like how that looks. I think we're good. Like, we're pretty much up to the top. It's not, I don't think it's like bang on, but again, very impressed with. And we'll maybe take a little bit of this and just pour it into here. Although I don't really think I need any more in this guy. I think we'll be okay. I think this, I feel like this one's going to be a little more distorted at the bottom than what this one is. And I don't know whether it's because of how the opening has been built on it. And I got these from Amazon. So it was a set of 3. It was these 2 plus a plate. And once I get this off, I'll show you. Yeah, I can, it's close enough to me. This is brilliant. So these 2, if you get them, take about 100 mils between the 2 of them. Oh, I'm so glad I did. Yay. The only thing it is it's not the blue that I was planning on using, but that's okay. But just seeing the difference in the vibrancy of, you know, this color over here versus that. So this is supposed to be blue, and then that's, you know, well, the royal blue and the rose red. Like, it just, yes, I'm very impressed. Okay, so I'll show you the plate, and then I'm going to clean up and then turn on my magic mat, and then we will come back. So understand that with this plate, I've been doing some decoupaging on it, and I messed up over here. I didn't have the napkin on the right way, but that's the plate. So I think it's, I want to say 8 inches side to side, I think. Anyways, I'm still playing with this piece. But those are the 3 pieces you get. You get the plate plus these 2. So I can't remember how much I paid for them, but I think it was a decent deal. I want to say it was around 30. That sound right? 30, something like that. But anyway, okay. I'm done talking. I'm going to turn on my mat. We're going to let these set up. This one might be interesting just because of how it's situated, whether or not we're going to get it curing, but I'm hoping as the silicone warms up that it'll warm the whole piece up. So fingers crossed that I get this done, like that we can see it today. Alrighty. Okay. We'll be back in a little while. It is time to take these out of their molds. They were on the heat mat for about 4 hours. I decided to leave them on a little bit longer. Especially because of this one. I figured maybe because of the shape of it and whatnot, it would be better off if it was left on for longer. And I want to be really careful with this one too, because it's a little, I want to say it's a little fragile just because there's not a lot to it. So getting that out fairly easily, which is nice. Always nice when, right when you can get your pieces out. Alright. I'm starting to wonder about how far up I should be filling pieces. See, I normally go right up to the top, And I'm almost starting to wonder if that is too high up and I shouldn't go up that high. We have a bit of a wobble. It's uneven, so I'm going to have to fix that. So I'll show you. You see how it's it's not quite flat. So I'll work on fixing that up. And you can see, or I hope you can see, well, you probably see it better that way. So I've got the flex in here. So my trying to be really clean doing the bottom, so we would have that with the, that was with the blue, right? That was the blue. So I'll bring these back for a second. That was with this blue. But but what I wanted to do is I wanted to play and just see how bright these would be against a translucent. So I enjoy that because I can see it easily enough. And where I ran into an issue was with my mica sort of jumping around inside of this. And I have 1 or 2 air bubbles. I have one for sure right here. I might have, actually I might have some more in that. But anyway, I digress. I don't need to go on about the bubbles. But yeah, so that's what we've got for the first one. I think, yeah, again, if I were going to do just this again, then I would pop it right out. I would turn it inside out and do it so that I don't have that splatter. But it's a cool looking bowl. It just, it needs a little bit of work on the bottom. Okay, now this one, this makes me think of a boat because of its back and forth. There we go. So this one I'm very curious about how this turned out for a couple of reasons. Boy, I like when I can get things out easily. All right. So this is how the other one turned out. I want to bring it up. That red, I'm in love with that rose red. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. And we'll just sort of turn it around. Hopefully I'm not getting too much of the light in that, and you can see the coloring. When they're shiny like this, it's hard to get it in the right spot for you guys so you can see it. Anyway, so when I had put the powder in and I flipped it around, as you had noticed, we got some powder on this side. And then I started sort of hitting it around and down. So I did that for a reason. And again, I'm not 100% sure how well you're going to see it, but I get some of that red on the bottom here, which I think is kind of cool. I'm trying to look in my I'm not doing a very good job here. Might be better if I had a different, if this was clear resin, we might see it better. But I've got a ring, if you will, of the rose red, what's it called again? Rose red, on the underside of this, which I think kind of, it adds some dimension to it. And that's why I kind of got excited when I was doing that and noticed it was clinging to the bottom side. So it's just around here. Again, I don't know. I can't tell if you guys can see it or not. But there is red all the way around here. So I think it adds some dimension to the piece, which I like. And yes, I do have air bubbles in this as well. But that turned out really pretty. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And the gold actually stands out more in this than I actually thought it was going to, which is brilliant. But there you go. There are our two pieces. all done up. I have to fix that. Unless people don't mind if it does that. And actually the other thing I really like about this edge, and I'll point it out to you. So translucent blue here, but it's actually very dark around the edge here, which again gives it a different dimension as far as the look of the piece, which is really neat. So if you wanted to even accentuate that more, is when you have it open, is go down the center, like go down, not the center, down at the bottom where this rim is, and highlight it with a mica powder or something like that. Then you would get even more of a, but it almost looks like I did black around it. So that's kind of cool too. Anyway, there we have it. Love the rose red. Can't say enough about that. And I'm going to have to make some other pieces with some of the other colors just to see how vibrant they are. And the blue might have shown up more had I, again, not used the green as my backdrop. But you can tell, right? I mean, as much as they say that's a green, yeah, not really much of a green. Anyway, there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Comment below with any of your thoughts on this. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.